Welcome to the Ecommerce Alley podcast, where we believe that great brands are built on passionate leadership, smart operations, and of course, powerful marketing. I am your fully caffeinated host, Josh Coffey, and with me today, I have a guest of honor who is Steven Diaz from the Rainmaker Family. Now, if you don't know the Rainmaker Family, you need to go check them out on Instagram. You need to go look at the things that they're doing because they're making some really big moves, doing some amazing things, especially for the mama bears out there that are looking to start businesses and grow businesses and change their family trees. So, Steven, man, I'm excited to meet you, and I'm excited to have this interview today.
Hey man, right there with you. Cheers. I got my coffee. I'm ready to rock. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Good. Well, before we kind of dive in here, I would just, if you could, just kind of like break down for everyone, like exactly who you are and a little bit about what you guys do over there with your Rainmaker family. No pun intended.
Yeah, for sure. I know there might be some people watching be like, this guy doesn't look much like a mama bear, but yeah, that is what we do. So my wife and I, she's usually on with me. But we just had a new baby, which is super exciting. So she's with him, and we serve moms. We help moms launch products online. And our goal is to make moms into millionaires. We do that through Amazon specifically. So we find a lot of the moms that come into our world, they're newer to e-commerce. Actually, they didn't even know you could sell products on Amazon typically. And so we empower them with information on how to do that. And I was telling Josh, it's kind of like a nice gateway drug into full entrepreneurship, which Amazon is a nice quick win. They already have the traffic. They already have the trust. We get them started there. And then often they kind of go the path that you've been teaching, like D2C, Shopify, off Amazon scaling. So that's what we do. We've been doing it 4 years. Amazon is really the thing that we fell into that changed our lives. And so we started telling friends, family, and then it kind of led to what it is now as the Rainmaker Family.
So this started 4 years ago. What were you doing before this?
We were wedding photographers and videographers. So yeah, it feels weird to say we're done with that because it was such a season of our life. We did that for 9 years in the creative space, doing videos and photos. And that kind of led to commercial work. And then we started doing Kickstarter videos. And that's where I kind of got the itch, where I was like, how are these people creating products? Like, how are they making these things? Like, I thought it was like this big, complex, like prototyping and all these things. And so I just 1 year, I had it on my goals that year to be like, figure out how to make a product. And so I actually started in a very forgiving niche called kendama. Have you heard of kendama before?
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a small niche, right? So kendama is a Japanese skill toy. So think of it like a yo-yo, but it's like ball and cup toy. And people that are into kendama are like really into kendama. It's like one of those, like they're just like fanatical. And so it's a small niche. Like there's like small kind of D2C brands in that niche. And so anytime there's something new, people are really excited. So I got a kendama for Christmas. It was just like a fun toy someone gave me. I think Chelsea gave it to me, and I got promptly addicted to playing with this like little wooden toy and trying to like land new tricks. And so that was kind of the first step into entrepreneurship in the e-commerce space, was like, I'm going to figure out how to launch a kendama brand. And so, did the whole Alibaba thing, thought I was getting scammed, ordered 500 units. It's like the scariest thing in my life, at the time. And we just built a brand off Instagram. We had an Instagram account. We had kind of a special focus to it, and that's where the audience hung out. It was mostly teenage boys basically at that point. You know what I mean? And so we just did Instagram and sold them off Instagram. And I was at that point packing and shipping stuff myself. And this was probably 2016, 2017. So I guess it's a little over 4 years ago. 4 years ago when we started Rainmakers, but this was a while back. And do you remember what happened in 2017 with fidget spinners?
What, they blew up?
Yeah, right. Like it was just the thing. Like if you look at like the Google Trends graph for fidget spinners, it's like 2017, and then it like died. So that's like right about the time we started putting some of these skill toys on Amazon as just another fulfillment channel. I was like, oh, whoa, I didn't know like Amazon could pack and ship these, because I was still doing photos and videos, taking up all my time, packing and shipping stuff at night, So I was like, oh, let's send stuff to the Amazon fulfillment center, pay a little fee, get them to ship it for me. And at the time we had this little stick called a karurin, another Japanese toy. It's just like this little wooden stick you push and it like rolls on the table. And it just blew up. It started selling $600 a day on Amazon off that fidget spinner kind of craze. It was like secondhand, like virality from that. And that's really when we caught the bug, where we were at a wedding at the time. making, I don't know, probably $4,000, maybe $5,000 at that wedding. And our Amazon business was starting to make more than we were making at the wedding, which was crazy. Like we're sweating at this wedding, sitting at the reception,
putting
tired
up with
after
the
a long
bride.
day. Yeah. And the e-commerce business is making more than us passively. And like, that's where we're like, okay, we got to make a change. And so even in that, like we wanted to start a family. We were spending all these weekends traveling to weddings, doing destination weddings all over. It wasn't sustainable. And so Amazon was really the thing that helped us actually start our family. Now we have 2 boys and we help others do the same, right? Like build a business that supports lifestyle, supports, having that contribution, the fulfillment, and that like side of you that wants to produce. And like, I love all that, but also like, I want to be a great dad. We got people who want to be great moms, and like balancing the two. So that's what we do at Rainmakers. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So you kind of started the business. It took off. You leave the photography world, which, by the way, I'm pretty familiar with how crazy that can be and how taxing it is. My brother has been not a wedding photographer, but he's been a photographer for almost 10 years. And now he does like luxury senior photos, destination. It's the craziest thing. Yeah. People pay for their seniors to fly to Oregon and do like these crazy shoots on the ocean. Oh my gosh. But he was in weddings forever. And so I know definitely how taxing, plus it's every Saturday night of your life is gone. And so then it kind of started. And then now with Rainmaker Family, you basically teach other moms and other people how to do that same thing for them and their families.
Yeah. So we still run our own e-commerce brands, but now we empower other families to do the same. And so we create a course, a community, it's got coaching, the whole shebang. And really it just it was organic. I basically, when I was learning it, I learned best by teaching. Like, it's like, if I can teach it, then I've really learned it. So I just created a free Facebook group at the time and had my friends in there. I was like, guys, let's do Amazon. I'll teach you how to do it. And so I was learning and teaching. And it was kind of like then a friend of a friend, and then like a friend of a friend of a friend. And then it just kind of like became this thing. And so, then we kind of officially launched Rainmakers. I guess that would have been 2018 and just really leaned into that. And then that slowly kind of started taking over our lives. And then weddings just kind of slowly started going away. And then 2020, was kind of a breakout year for Rainmakers. We had it pretty established at that point, but 2020, all weddings were canceled, right? Yeah. Oh, man. And everyone was home wanting to work. So it was like a perfect storm. Like, it was like, we teach people how to work from home, and all of our weddings just got canceled. So we just like went all in. And 2020, we were able to reach a ton of people, help a lot of families, and help people actually thrive in that season, which was super cool.
Wow. That's just like an example of all those stars just flat out aligning for you guys. Yeah. Man. Yeah. So I'm curious because we do direct to consumer. Everyone that we typically work with is on Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, and Magento. Those are like the core 4, I guess. So if someone was like, let's say someone has already started, but rather than taking the starting route of Amazon, they're on direct to consumer. Like, how much work is it to say, and is it worth it to say, hey, let's start moving also on Amazon as additional sales channel? Like, how much work is that? What does that look like?
I would say Amazon is definitely like, it's a big machine. And so with big machines, there's just weird stuff. So definitely having some sort of coaching, or just like, even just YouTubing specific stuff of how to do things, it'll accelerate your learning curve. So I would say there's probably 2 types of people. If you're kind of still in the startup phase, you're probably going to want to DIY the Amazon thing. However, if you're kind of more established, there are companies that can just do turnkey Amazon for you. And so I've seen both methods. I was referred to a company that we actually just started using for one of our brands on Amazon, just to like make it fully, like basically we just reorder inventory. They do everything else. And they referred to me by Andrea Olson. I should connect you with her because she'd be an awesome guest. She has a company called Tiny Undies. Okay. So she teaches moms how to potty train their kids from birth, which is this whole niche. It's crazy. And so like they literally go diaper free by like the time they're walking. And so it creates a problem, right? They don't have underwear that small. So she sells underwear and tiny potties and all these things. And so she recommended this company because she's like all Shopify. Like she's all like D2C Shopify. That's her expertise. She's like, I don't want to learn Amazon. So she just outsourced it to this company, and they just charge a flat monthly rate. They run the whole thing, and she's doing about 20K extra revenue a month on Amazon off just one product, which is crazy. So the biggest thing I'd probably tell you, your audience, before you just go, I'm going to do Amazon, I would just look at the opportunity on Amazon. And so there's some tools out there. Helium-10 is one of the ones that we use.
Okay.
That allows you to analyze Amazon. They have a paid tool, of course, but they have a free tool, I believe, you can get called X-Ray, and it's a Chrome extension. And so you could go on Amazon, search a product that you sell on Amazon, and then click on X-Ray and just see how much people are making on that product on Amazon, and that'll help you decide if it's worth your time, right? Because some things you search and you're like, oh my gosh, people are making 6 figures on this one product on Amazon, you know?
Wow.
And so if you see opportunity like that, I mean, even if it's $5,000-$10,000 extra, it's like, why not use that channel?
Yeah. So like, I'm curious, you've done this with a lot of people and taught a lot of people, because I know you have the, what is it? The Amazon, not the Amazon challenge. What's the challenge you guys are running?
Yeah. We have a Rainmaker challenge. It's a 7-day kind of like on-ramp to Amazon.
Mm-hmm. So like, I'm curious, like overall, like, because you've worked with, I mean, how many people have gone through your guys' like trainings, would you say?
Yeah. I mean, we've had probably 14,000 go through the challenge in the last couple of years.
Wow.
And then we have a mastermind that's more of like a 12-month one-on-one coaching, group coaching type program. Mm-hmm. And so we have around 1,000 members in there as of right now. But the challenge is such a great kind of also like place to go is Amazon for me, right? Because sometimes Amazon is, like I said, really great opportunity. Sometimes it's not. So you might have a product, you might look on Amazon and go like, it's not a great opportunity there. It's like way too competitive. It's going to cost me way too much money. You know what I mean? Like you're selling cell phone cases, probably not Amazon, right? Like it's going to take too much to succeed there. Mm-hmm. But if you're in a niche, like a smaller niche, kind of hobby type product or something like that, where you could get ranked on Amazon pretty easily. The cool thing with Amazon is like they already have the traffic and they already have the trust, right? So we talk about kind of like digital real estate in our world. And so when you go to Amazon, you buy off the front page, right? Like you like search, the example I've been saying lately is baby knee pads. Okay. I didn't know this was a thing, but like that's a niche, right? Like moms who like want their babies to wear knee pads, right? Because protect their knees while they're crawling. I didn't know this was a thing. I'm just like, hey, they can toughen up their knees, but
nice.
Baby knee pads, go on Amazon. You're like, I have a problem, baby knee pads, search that. We look at how much search volume is around that, and Helium-10 will tell you that. Mm-hmm. And so baby knee pads, I think the last time I checked was like 5,000 people a month searching for that, which you would think like, wow, like that's a lot, right? So if you can get your product ranked on that front page, that's 5,000 potential free customers looking at your product every single month. And so look at your product on Amazon, see what the search volume is. And if you kind of think of it like from an acquisition standpoint, it's like, man, even just the brand awareness of having your product on the front page of one of those keywords could be really, really valuable. So we have a mountain bike brand, and our keywords are kind of anywhere from 15,000 to 100,000 searches a month on some of these pretty niche mountain bike type products on Amazon. And so we're like, we got to have this thing on both. Shopify is great because you get to own the customer. You get to do upsells and downsells and cross sells and email marketing. Amazon, a little more restricted. They don't give you the customer information as much, but you do have the passive aspect of it where they will ship it and fulfill it for you. Or you can do that yourself if you have a fulfillment channel you're already using. So
like what kind of results do you see? With 14,000, you have to see like some trends and like results, I'm sure. So like what kind of results are a lot of your like students and people that do this seeing?
Oh man. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, we're taking people from like zero knowledge of e-commerce to launching products. And so, we have some fun stats. I like awards. So you can see an award on the back wall. That's our 7-figure award. We've given away 4 of those. So people who cross the 7-figure mark, we have a 6-figure award. I think we're in the 30s with that one. As far as growing a 6-figure business. And then we have like lower awards, like $100 a day, $1,000 a day. So the $100 a day we call the Benjamin Club. We have someone hit that in our community every 1.5 days. So like every day and a half, we have someone else hitting that award. And then the $1,000 a day, we have it happening every 14 days at this point. So every 14 days or 2 weeks, someone else is crossing the $1,000 day on Amazon in sales. So yeah, it's super fun, man. That's what fires me up the most. Like we had someone recently who was like at the hospital, like literally his wife's delivering their baby, and he's making, like, he posted a screenshot, like, I just made $3,000 today while I've been fully present here with my wife, and it's totally hands off because Amazon's doing the fulfillment. So you do pay a fee for that, right? You pay fulfillment fees and all those things. But if you do want to kind of have that lifestyle aspect to the business where you can have it be somewhat passive and a little bit hands off, Amazon's definitely a good channel to look into.
So like, and I love that. I love it. And you always you have to give up something for that freedom. Like you give up margin for your sanity almost, and like being able to do those things. So like one thing I've noticed with you and from what I've seen from social media for you guys is like you're very family oriented, which I really admire. And I love how you and I had to reschedule this like once or twice just because your wife was about to give birth, and then you had the baby right a few days before we were supposed to do this. So we had to reschedule again. And then you're like, I'm off. And your assistant was like, he's off for a whole month. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I think that's great. Like, cool. Like cancel my podcast. Let's redo it. So I'm just curious, like, how do you build that business in that balance around like your family and work? Because I think that so many entrepreneurs, whether it's D2C, it's, in any industry, really, a lot of people struggle with that. And you guys seem to have a really good balance. So like, what's the secret? Steven sauce.
The secret.
The secret Steven
sauce, man. Oh man, I would say like one thing I do is, you really got to learn to value your own time. I think when you're in the startup phase, which we are in, and all like we're a multi-7-figure business at this point. So there's certain stuff I should not be doing, but I'm always kind of like in the hustle phase on something new, right? I'm always like, well, let me play with TikTok ads now. And so I'm like in there. Right. Yeah. And so you always have that, but like also valuing your time and knowing like what's your best contribution to the business. At the beginning, you're doing everything. Right. But as soon as you can start finding who's for some of the to-dos, especially the lower level stuff, you know what I mean? Like, not lower value stuff, but just like, if you had to just list out everything you did in the day and then like hand that to someone else and say, hey, just go circle all the things you think would be a minimum wage task, right? And have them circle it, right? It's probably like half of your things. Or like you could have someone be doing this for minimum wage, or you could have a VA from the Philippines handling this for $7 an hour. You know what I mean? Like that's really what helped us. And so I got the spark from 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss's book.
Classic.
Back in like I read that in college, and just like it was just like I don't work 4 hours a week. I work a full work week and maybe more. But there's something in that kind of like work smarter, not harder, that just like we do in everything in Rainmaker. So our goal is to help moms build a business during nap time, during Netflix time. If you had 30 minutes a day, that's kind of what we frame everything around. And so a lot of that means finding people to do the stuff, hiring an agency to do the PPC, right? Like using a sourcing agent to find the product. Like we like you do, again, sacrifice a little bit of margin on some of those things. FBA especially, you got FBA fees and all that, but it's all about the lifestyle, and about like, I mean, the fact that you can take a week or two. I mean, we took 2 months off the business. I took about a month when I started going crazy.
I was mistaken. It wasn't 1, it was 2, huh?
We were planning for 2. I kind of came back in the second month because like, I need to work, right? Like, it's just like part of me. Like, I need to move the needle on something. So, but yeah, like the business ran without us. All the businesses ran without us. And like, that's really cool. Like you can grow it if you want, or you can sit back if you want. And I think I've learned a lot from books like Who Not How, the E-Myth, right? Like talking about like systemizing your business. SOP. I didn't even know what the SOP was until like last year, a standard operating procedure. I had no idea what that was, but now I'm like, that's all we've been doing the last year. It's just like systematizing, putting people in place so that this thing can run without us, and that also makes your business, especially in the D2C space, super valuable. If you're going to exit the business at some point, having these systems, having people in place that do this stuff, is so valuable. So definitely, I would say if you aren't doing that yet, start with just one thing. Just start with like, what's that one thing that you're currently doing that you don't love, that wouldn't cost that much to outsource? And when you outsource it with that extra free time, you'll probably be able to grow your business to totally pay for that thing and then some. And that's a key thing. It's something you're already doing, not something you wish you were doing. It's something you're already doing, because that actually frees up your time.
I love that. And I think one of the easiest mistakes in that is like you said, like something that's cheap and it makes sense to outsource or hire for, because I think a lot of people, they outsource things too soon. And just because they don't want to do something, and they outsource something that has a huge impact on their business. Like if I was in car sales, and I was like, it was a small mom and pop shop, and I was one of the guys, and suddenly I outsourced sales to some guy that's just brand new. Usually sales is a high impact thing on your business that if you outsource sales way too soon, it could just devastate you because you don't have the frameworks and the systems and foundation yet.
Totally.
And so, I completely agree with that. Now I am curious, like, is your, you've made a lot of strides through, it's crazy how much you've grown the Rainmaker family tribe in such a short amount of time to me. That's inspiring. Now, like, moving forward, like what's next for you guys? Like, what are you guys moving into focusing on?
Man, I think like we're getting really creative with customer acquisition right now. Facebook ads are still crushing it, right? Like still like one of the best places you can be advertising because they just have so much data. But we are just getting really creative with how do we reach more people on Rainmaker side of things and on our e-commerce brands. It's kind of like going throughout. So I could share like a few things we're doing because this might get your audience some ideas as far as like customer acquisition. So one thing I'm doing, and this is just like, it's more of a CEO level kind of task, but like if you could do this even just like once a week, it's really powerful. So I'm looking for basically, one thing I do is I go on Flippa. Okay. It's like Flippa is where like you can buy and sell businesses. And so Flippa, it's a ton of e-commerce businesses on there. And so what I'm doing on there is I'm looking for not businesses to buy. Now, yes, you can acquire businesses and roll them into yours, but like if you're not super capital, like you have tons of capital to throw at stuff, then look for opportunities to bolt your business onto other people's businesses before they sell. Okay. So if like there's a business for sale and they have your customers already and they have a list of 30,000 of your customers, right? Then go approach them, send them a message on Flippa, right? And go, hey, before you sell, can I add a little cherry on top to that sale? I know you have your price for 300,000 or whatever, but could I pay you X to bolt me onto your email list, right? So like maybe after they buy their product, 7 days after, you're in their email sequence, right? And so that's the type of thing that'll transfer with the business. Now the next person might cut you out of it, but I'm looking for these things where it's just like, that person is already planning to sell the business. They're just like, hey, this is it actually adds value to the business because maybe there's like an affiliate deal there. But I'm looking for basically, how can I bolt my business onto other people's business? What we're doing in the mountain bike space is we kind of thought like, where are our ideal people hanging out? And so think through that with your brands. And so for us, our ideal people are like, there's trail building organizations all over the country. And so like, those are like the fanatics, like the people that go dig the trails, like those are the crazy ones. Yeah. Those are our people. Right. So, and the people that donate to those organizations, those are our people. Because we have a high-end mountain bike brand that is, it's not your cheap tools. It's like premium. So we started contacting trail building organizations and going, hey, we'd love to support your organization. Can we send you $20 gift cards to our store to give to anyone who donates to your building organization or anyone who comes to your events? They're stoked. They're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's so generous. And we're giving them $20 kind of like scratch off QR code things that take them to our store. We know that that's actually going to cost us probably $4 to $6, in shipping and product costs for that particular thing that they can use it for. But like, imagine acquiring a customer, right, for $4 to $6. You can't do that on Facebook right now. So we're thinking about different ways to do that. Another way we're doing it is partnerships where we find, a brand that is that also has our customers, right, and doing a deal with them, right. So like, hey, when they buy a bike off this website for $5,000 to $10,000, will you include our accessory? We would love to gift our accessory to your people. So when they buy a $5,000 to $10,000 bike, throw our accessory in there, and guess what's on the accessory, right? A QR code to say, hey, go spin the wheel for $20 free to our site. So we're getting that email of that amazing customer who's spending $5,000 to $10,000 on a bike, right? So we're just thinking of ways to do that, where it's like you do a couple of those deals, and you could turn Facebook ads off, and because these other businesses are more established and growing, they're just constantly driving people back to you. So just a couple ideas. That's what gets me really excited. I'm thinking about the same thing on Rainmakers. Like we literally have in some of our Amazon products. So we help moms, right? So guess what type of products we sell on Amazon sometimes? Products to moms, right? So we have baby products. So we have baby toy we're launching that literally has an insert in it that's like, hey, did you know you can sell products on Amazon? Go take our challenge. So we're using Amazon as a funnel to bring in customers at a profit. They're buying the product to join our challenge, which on Facebook, we could pay $250, $300 to acquire a customer for the challenge, but on Amazon, we're going to get that customer for free. So
yeah,
crazy, right? Like thinking just a little outside the box, but like if you could, I heard someone say this, if you could, I think it was Alex Hormozy. Have you followed Alex at all? He's amazing. Yeah. So he said this thing like, and I don't know if he came up with it or he's quoting someone else, but it was just like, if you could just sell one more product, right? And that one product had to basically fuel all the rest of your sales. Like what would that experience have to be with that one product? It's just like, how can you think about stewarding that one sale at such a higher level? Mm-hmm. And so we just started going down that route, and it's just, I mean, it gives me a lot of crazy ideas, which I love.
That's amazing. So that's definitely leaping out of the standard marketing strategies and really getting into the creativity side of things. And the idea of going to Flippa and starting to do that is like, that's like next tier, like creative thinking. I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people are willing to even just like sell you their whole list. It's like, oh yeah, I'll sell you the email list for $5,000, $3,000. I mean, you got to know your cost per acquisition to know that that's going to be worth it for you to do something like that. But you'd be surprised what people are willing to do when they're in that kind of selling mode.
Wow. That's pretty, hopefully Flippa's not listening to this, or anyone who's trying to sell on Flippa. No, that's really amazing, man. Well, Stephen, thank you for being on. If anyone wants to kind of connect with you and kind of see what you guys are up to, where could we do that at?
Yeah, we have a podcast, the Rainmaker Family Show. So if you love listening to podcasts, find us there. And then the rainmakerfamily.com, you can connect with all our stuff. So thanks so much, Josh. It was so fun geeking out. And we did do an interview with Josh on our episode, on our show. So he dropped some bombs on there. So definitely go check it out. And let's stay connected, man. This is fun.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Stephen and I are grateful that you were on today with us. But you, my friend, have been listening to the Ecommerce Alley podcast produced by the legendary Dylan Counts. Now, if you want to find more information about Stephen and the Rainmaker family, please go check them out in those places that he just said, on Instagram, on Facebook. And if you want to also join the Ecommerce Alley group, it's absolutely free. Go to alleypodcast.com/group and it'll send you right to the Facebook group where you'll be able to get all kinds of actionable insights, resources, tools, and cool stuff. And it is $0. So thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.